Hello, happy Monday. Welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. In our top story, we are hours away from voting day, and election officials are making last-minute preps to make sure everything runs smoothly for voters tomorrow. On each island, the election officials have gotten the voting machines ready, both the DS200 and the Automarks. They sealed the jump drives that will record the votes. Election Supervisor Carolyn Fox spoke to News 2 about what voters can expect at the site. She also urges voters to hit the sites early.
That may just be a slight problem in that you only have 2 functioning board members who would be available to, in fact, do those duplicate ballots. Well, Ms. Diane McGrath has not participated over the last maybe 10 to 12 weeks in regards to any of the stuff. She didn't participate in any activities during the primary, and the other 4 members are actual candidates on the 2014. And given the fact that all the contests are on one ballot, we should not have any appearance of impropriety by those 4 board members having to make decisions about any vote that where their name appears on the same ballot.
We're preparing for the 2016 general election, and comparing to 2014, the only major difference I know a lot of folks talk about, they had to place their ballots in the ballot box and they didn't get the opportunity to feed it into the machine. Well, in 2016 for the general election, you are going to be able to feed your ballots directly into the machine, just like we did for the early voting process. I'd like to encourage folks to come out and vote. Every vote matters. A lot of folks died for this right, and we need to, cast our votes. Again, know the candidates, know the platform, know what you expect, and then you go out and vote and try to go vote early. We know there's going to be a rain day if you look at the forecast for the next couple of days, so we're encouraging folks to get out and vote based on what you see going on, whether it's early morning or afternoon, but your vote count. Your voice is your vote, and your vote is your voice.
Now, after Virgin Islanders head to the polls to decide who will represent them, be sure to tune in to hear from our knowledgeable panel during the live election special on November 8th at 7 p.m. Then later, our election recap special that airs at 12 a.m. Join us as we look back at the top 2016 election stories. Virgin Islands Department of Education, they're advising students, parents, guardians, and the general community that all public schools will be closed on Tuesday, November 8th for the elections, as most schools are designated as polling stations by the election system of the VI. All public schools will also be closed on Friday, November 11th, in observance of the Veterans Day holiday. Well, the following is a list of the St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix Board of Elections polling places designations for the general elections. In St. Thomas, St. John District, Bertha Bashelta Middle School, we have Bertha Bashelta, Ivana Eudora Ken, Joseph Gomez Elementary School, Joseph Gomez F to N, Charles Turnbull Library, the Curriculum Center and Anna Center O to Z, E. Benjamin Oliver Elementary A to E, Charlotte Molly High School, Charlotte Molly High, the gym and cafeteria, Joseph Sibley Building A and B, Oswald Harris Court, Winston Ramos Center, Gladys Abraham Elementary School, we have Gladys Abraham, and Ulla Muller Elementary School A to L. Adelita Cancrine Junior High, Adelita Cancrine, Leonard Dober, North and South. Ulla Muller Elementary School, St. John, we have, looking over at St. John, we have Julius Sprouse School, Calabash Boom, Guy Benjamin Elementary, and on St. Croix, St. Dunstan's Episcopal School, Elena Christian Junior High, and John F. Kennedy Project Center, Juanita Gardine Elementary School, D.C. Canegata Multipurpose Center, Pearl B. Larson, Florence Williams Library, Lou Muckle, Ricardo Richards, Alfredo Andrews, and then the St. Croix Educational Complex, Evelyn Williams, and St. Croix Educational Complex as well, Eulalie Rivera, and Alexander Henderson Elementary School, Claudio Marco, and those are the polling places. Now, just a reminder regarding the time off to vote. It is a regular work day for most people. However, all employees who are required to work on those days shall be entitled to 2 hours off from their jobs without loss of pay to vote in the elections, provided that they notify their employers before of their intention to be absent for the purpose of voting. If you are not eligible to vote, you are required to report to work as usual. Vitran will be operating its regular fixed route and ADA paratransit services scheduled from 5:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. on Tuesday. And that's the message from St. Croix District Board of Elections Chairwoman Liliana Belardo de O'Neill on behalf of the Commissioner, Gustav James, and the hardworking Vitran staff. Now, students, they exercise their civic duties pertaining to the election system of the VI, and following are some mock election results that were held. This one was conducted by the Social Studies Department at BCB Middle School on Thursday, November 3rd for the Delegate to Congress, Senatorial, At-Large, the 32nd Legislature of the VI, and the Board of Election and Board of Education races. The top votes for senators, just looking at that, was Marvin Blyden at 286, Jeanette Millen-Young at 250, and Stephen Smokey Fred at 177, Jean Ford at 166. Meanwhile, Janelle Saru, she came out on top at a Sheldon-Molly High School poll with 604 votes, 587 for Marvin Blyden and 570 for Jean Ford, and Senator Jeanette Millen-Young with 554. Mock elections were held on last Wednesday, and it was based on the upcoming general election, just the St. Thomas St. John district. Now, results for the 32nd Legislature of the VI St. Croix District, they were in and certified by the Arthur Richards Junior High School election system. The Frederickstead School held a forum followed by a mock election. After their 5-minute presentations, students questioned the senatorial candidates on pressing educational and current societal issues before heading to the polls to select their favorite 7 candidates. All candidates were invited to the school's forum. The school's Future Business Leaders of America, FBLA, members moderated the forum while the 7th and 8th grade students submitted questions. Now, the following are the results. The top vote getters: Terrence Positive Nelson with 228, Alicia Chucky Hansen with 218, and Kurt Villale at 181. We'll turn our attention to the states. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, they're on their last campaign push through battleground states on the last day of the 2016 election season. The most recent CNN poll of polls has Clinton with a 4-point lead, but the race is tight and will depend on voter turnout. Steve Nanas has a look at the last day on the campaign trail.
On the final day of campaigning, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump hitting the trail at breakneck speed and focused on key battlegrounds.
In Pennsylvania, it's all about Election Day.
Clinton campaigning today in the crucial toss-up of North Carolina, also going to Michigan and Pennsylvania, where Clinton's lead has narrowed in recent weeks. President Obama, one of Clinton's biggest assets on the trail, appearing in Michigan and North Carolina before joining Hillary Clinton, former President Bill Clinton, and the First Lady for a Philadelphia rally.
This is the last day of our campaign. Who would have believed this?
Trump hitting 5 states today. He'll be in Pennsylvania and Michigan, also Florida, North Carolina, and New Hampshire. Sunday night's bombshell from FBI Director James Comey, saying in a letter to Congress that they've completed their review of the newly discovered emails and found nothing to change their conclusions from July, that Hillary Clinton should not face criminal charges, has both campaigns reacting to the last-minute news.
We're glad to get that news, but not surprised.
Hillary Clinton should not even be allowed to run for the presidency of the United States. With what's happening with our justice, our country is a laughingstock.
With that news coming just a day and a half before polls open Tuesday, it's unclear how it will play in voters' minds. In Washington, I'm Steve Nanas.
Meanwhile, keeping our eye on the economy, Election Day will be a paid holiday for thousands of workers across the U.S. this year. General Motors is one of many companies that make Election Day a paid holiday. Other companies include Ford Motor Company, Square, Hearst Publishing, Patagonia, Mattress Company, Casper, and Digital Media Company. Thrillist Ford sent an email to workers telling them every vote counts. Outdoor clothing company Patagonia is closing all its retail stores, its headquarters in California and distribution center in Nevada. There is no federal law requiring workers get time off to vote, and state laws vary. Here's a look at the stock market watch at the New York Stock Exchange. According to the numbers there, we can see everything up. The Dow 371, NASDAQ 119, S&P 500 up at 46. Coming up on News 2, we have our crime reports. A man receives a stab wound after he tried to break up a fight. We have more from the VIPD. Plus, it was all about the Jazz. The Roosevelt Park highlights from Jazz in the Park, that's coming up. Welcome back. A technical glitch in the integrated voice response system at the VI Water and Power Authority, caused an error message to be transmitted to residents about an island-wide service interruption on St. Croix on Saturday. The IVR is an automated system designed to notify customers of service interruptions. So at approximately 6 a.m. on Saturday, St. Croix residents began receiving the erroneous message announcing an island-wide service interruption. WAPA officials have confirmed that there are no planned island-wide interruptions for either district on Saturday, and that the authority apologizes for any inconvenience that may have been caused by the system's technical error. Well, turning to crime reports, on Wednesday, November 2nd, around 3:07 p.m., a male with a stab wound was transported from St. John to the Roy Schneider Hospital on St. Thomas after he tried to break up a fight. Here's more from VIPD.
Upon arrival, officers made contact with an individual who stated that he was exiting a business establishment located in Cruise Space St. John when observed a couple walking in front of him. He further stated that he observed the suspect in the matter swing a fist at the male, and as a result, he stepped between the female and the suspect. The victim then stated that a suspect took out a kitchen knife from the back of his waist and stabbed him to his abdomen. The victim was then taken into surgery at the hospital. The suspect, Akil Gums, 35 years old, was arrested for assault third, unable to post bail. Gums was remanded to the Bureau of Corrections. Anyone having information about any crime in the territory, please contact the Virgin Islands Police Department at 340-774-2211 in St. Thomas, 340-778-2211 in St. Croix. You can also contact Crime Stoppers VI at 1-800-222-TIPS or 911.
On November 4th, 24-year-old Mario Daniels Jr. was arrested on a warrant issued by a Superior Court magistrate for assault third and reckless endangerment first. Daniels was wanted for an incident that took place in Frederickstead early 2016. Before the warrant was secured, Daniels fled the territory and was picked up on a traffic stop in Tampa, Florida through NCIC, which is a National Crime Information Center. Daniels was held in Tampa until he waived extradition and was returned to the territory on Friday, November 4th. NCIC is a computerized central database of documented criminal justice information available and serves as the lifeline of virtually every law enforcement agency in the United States 24 hours a day. Coast Guardsmen offloaded and transferred approximately 992 pounds of cocaine to Drug Enforcement Administration authorities in St. Thomas Tuesday. The seized contraband was estimated to have a wholesale value of $12.5 million. The interdiction and seizure of contraband was the result of ongoing multi-agency law enforcement efforts in support of Operation Unified Resolve and Operation Caribbean Guard. A Coast Guard cutter was diverted to interdict the suspect vessel in coordination with Customs and Border Protection Marine units. The cutter crew located and recovered numerous bales which tested positive for cocaine. A Customs and Border Protection Maritime Patrol aircraft and Coast Guard helicopter also assisted in the law enforcement efforts. The DEA is presently investigating. Well, as we reported on Friday, an update, radiation treatments had resumed at the Charlotte-Kilmerman Cancer Institute. Patients clinically due to receive radiation therapy began receiving treatments on Friday, although the treatment services were provided on Saturday as well. As indicated during a press conference held on Wednesday, November 2nd, the facility's management personnel, along with representatives from the air conditioners manufacturing company, they have been working diligently to bring that unit back online. A technician from the manufacturer arrived on island and has been able to get that unit functioning. Today was the expected arrival of the rental chiller. Snyder Regional Medical Center is the recipient of a grant that will allow for the purchase of 3 new chillers. Count on 2 to keep you updated. Scotiabank's annual commitment to UVI was demonstrated during a Chamber of Commerce Business After Hours event where the bank contributed $10,000 to UVI. Scotiabank, the scholarship fund that they have at Scotiabank Altona branch. On hand to accept that donation were Dr. David Hall, president of UVI, as well as one of the 2 students who were awarded the scholarship. This year's recipients are Jordan Broadhurst of St. Croix and Kian Jeroy Francis of St. Thomas. Both recipients of this year's scholarships are majoring in the field of business administration. Congratulations to them. The U.S. Small Business Administration Puerto Rico and Virgin Islands District Office, they graduated 17 companies from the second Emerging Leaders Training Series delivered in Puerto Rico. These 17 companies span a variety of industries from scientific, technical, and consulting services, pest control and engineering, to construction, marketing, and food manufacturing. They also cover all 4 Puerto Rico regions, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Launched in Puerto Rico in April 2015, the Emerging Leaders Training Series was designed to serve as a catalyst to help expand opportunities for established small businesses in underserved communities. Well, for most Americans, daylight saving time started with a fallback to standard time on Sunday, and it didn't apply to the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Guam, American Samoa, Hawaii, and Arizona, with the exception of the Navajo Nation. We stay on Atlantic Standard Time all year long. The VI and Puerto Rico are in the Atlantic time zone, so we are now an hour ahead of Eastern time zone. 4-time Grammy Award-winning jazz bassist, composer, and vocalist Esperanza Spalding performed live on the Ryko stage on Saturday. She previously performed at the Oscars, Grammys, the Nobel Prize ceremony, and several times at the White House. Opening for Esperanza, Spalding was the ever-popular Lourdes, right there she is, and The Switch, the band pictured a little earlier. And the crowd enjoyed the performance, and fans had the opportunity to pose for a few pictures after the show, and many say they were happy to be part of that experience. Attendees gave standing ovations and captured videos and photos during the finale. And we are talking about more jazz. Jazz in the Park. Approximately 300 attendees filled the park with blankets and folding chairs. St. Thomas's Roosevelt Park was filled with the sounds of funky, hip-hopping, beatboxing, and absolutely mind-blowing sounds as International Capital and Management Company, ICMC, they hosted the final Jazz in the Park music series for the 2016 season. Friday's Jazz in the Park installment featured the Huntertones, founded in Ohio and currently based in New York, along with St. Thomas's own Charlotte Amalie Jazz Combo, who filled the air with smooth jazz melodies. St. John's from Bruheim with Love preceded the Huntertones and serenaded the audience with all-time R&B favorites. The Huntertones brought high energy to the stage as they played adventurous original compositions and arrangements that melded jazz, funk, hip-hop, soul, R&B, and rock. They closed with a tramp through Roosevelt Park playing an original rendition of St. Thomas by Sonny Rollins, while images of the U.S. Virgin Islands flag appeared on the stage. We'd like to say thanks to my friend Will for that video. M2M, Montessori to Megan's. The annual race was held on Saturday. More than 300 people laced up the sneakers to hit the road. Connor McElvey, 24 years of age, took top honors, posting a time of 55 minutes and 54 seconds over 8 miles. Lisa Parfit, who placed 13 overall, was the top female. Jack Hollins, Madison Van Herk, Karen Gayquad, and John Cook, they placed second, third, fourth, and fifth, respectively. Kaya Anspacher, 12, finished first in her age group and second among women. Jenny Martin took third among women. Alexandra Gutting finished fourth, and Laura Klein placed fifth. Now, proceeds to benefit Mothers Against Guns, St. Thomas Track Club, and student aid programs at VI Montessori School. Job well done to all those who participated for a worthy cause. Be sure to stick around. Your NEWS2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
With our satellite imagery out there, you can see where a frontal boundary is located right here, and then out ahead of it we have plenty of clouds, and there's a good deal of moisture out there as well. It's all ahead of the front that is actually going to be kind of falling apart before it continues to drop any farther southward. But since there's plenty of moisture to deal with, we're going to be dealing with some showers, maybe an isolated downpour, but you can see here with our estimated radar, a bulk of the precipitation or the heavier rain sheet shield has been more to the north and west. But as we go into the overnight hours, we'll see a temperature of 76 degrees, some showers. There could be an isolated heavier downpour in spots for tonight. And then for tomorrow in St. John, we have some showers, temperature of 86 degrees. As we look to what we can expect in St. Thomas, 86 degrees as well. We'll have some showers, perhaps an isolated, just isolated, heavier downpour. And in St. Croix, some spotty showers and a temperature of 85 degrees. Taking a look at your marine forecast, on the Atlantic side, waves are 2 to 4 feet, and we have winds out of the east at 5 to 10 knots. On the Caribbean side, we're looking at pretty much the same thing. Waves 2 to 4 feet. We have winds out of the east also at 5 to 10 knots. As we look to the extended outlook here, we have showers around for your Tuesday, as I mentioned, and there could be maybe an isolated heavier downpour around. For Wednesday, we're keeping abundant moisture here. The moisture's not going anywhere, so we're still going to be dealing with a shower or two in the area. A high temperature of 86 for Wednesday. Thursday, a shower or two with a high of 87. Even on Friday, we'll still have a shower or two around the area. Just kind of splash and dash. And on Saturday, some spotty showers with a high temperature of 87 degrees. Sandy, back to you.
Thank you for that. It is time for our News 2 weather picture by Jasmine Jackson of Ricardo Richards Elementary School. And Jasmine probably had a little visit to Buck Island, and she says it's very cool. The weather patterns, maybe a water spout. Jasmine, thank you for your picture. Send us your News 2 weather picture to News 2, Innovative Business Center, 4611 Tutu Park, Suite 300, St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, 00802. And that will do it for this edition. We'd like to thank you for joining us for all the latest. I'm Sandra Guman Singh. Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you next time.